Hi, hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Mike's Weather Page. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Monday night here, tracking Hurricane Ian up to 100 miles an hour. Looking extremely healthy, developing. 5 o'clock track just came out, shifted another little bit to the east, and kind of giving everybody the reality that this thing is heading towards west central Florida. Couple notes. This is the latest track. Let me show you the big one. This is the overall map here showing major hurricane. It is going to weaken a little bit due to some dry air and some shear, and then be a storm up through Florida. Yes, and a hurricane watch is posted in northern Florida now. There's always that chance this thing intensifies a little more than they think and possibly gets a little stronger. That possibility is really real. But this is what's happening. We got a major hurricane just off the coast here. 2 a.m. Wednesday at 115 miles an hour. Just a short 12 hours later, it barely moves. And that right there alone is posing two problems. Incredible rainfall's going to fall. Constant, several hours of constant rain. And surge is going to be pushing in from the Gulf counterclockwise up into the bay, and we are probably going to see historic surge for many folks. We got a new surge map that just came out here at let's take a look at it real quick. I got a bunch of them here. This is a new surge map. Let me refresh it. Now it includes parts of the Big Bend now. But we got a 5 to 10 foot surge expected in Tampa Bay. That is epic. We have higher than normal tides because of new moon cycles right now. Some of the highest tides right now are going on. So you add tides to surge, and you're going to get 12, 13 feet on top of that 10. Serious situation. Here's what it looks like real quick. Let me show you. This current satellite. Let's pull it up real quick. All right, so this is it. This is a 5 o'clock look. Classic hurricane, major hurricane coming. It's over the warmest part of the Western Atlantic right now, and like I said, who knows what this thing's going to do before it starts to weaken. It could surprise everybody and become, who knows. It's going to be going over loop currents that we talk about. There's a loop current right here, exactly where it's going. The hottest water in the Gulf of Mexico, so we got to watch it. It's going to be pushing Category 4 possible surge all the way to Tampa. Even though this thing's expected to weaken, the surge is not. The surge is going to be coming towards Tampa Bay. That's why we have surge warnings up, okay? Don't look at this line and say, oh, it might stay off the coast. It's such a large storm. We have possibilities of surge on the East Coast because this thing is so large. Like we talked about before, this storm down here we're already getting flooding rains in South Florida tonight on Monday, but we're going to have a constant pounding of storms coming in across the whole eastern coast with even some surge possible here, almost like we saw with Irma. Such a large system. Problems on both sides of the state. Here's the rains right now, 5 o'clock. That is actual moisture feeders bands coming up tonight, already reaching Central Florida. Hurricane hunters have been out there all day. They're finding a pressure of 978. It's slowly intensifying. You can see the track here. You can track them on Tropical Tidbits. Here's some of your rainfall estimates. 6 to 10 inches in the orange areas. The whole peninsula, 6 to 10 inches. Red, 10 to 15 inches of rain, and we're starting to get some 15 to 20 inch rains that could sneak into the picture. So inland flooding is going to be huge on top of the surge and wind along the coast. Just the worst case scenario. Here's the rainfall tomorrow. This is Tuesday. Look, we already got a moderate chance of flooding across southern parts of Florida. So this is not a West Coast system. Latest spaghetti models, I guess, kind of reiterates the new track change from the NHC. These are on Tropical Tidbits, but your TVCN line is your consensus line, and they do point up into Tampa Bay. There is that slowdown that we've been seeing. couple of these models are kind of going through the state. Just keep it back of your mind. But, you know, every day we get closer, it's becoming more and more better forecasting. Our cone will start getting tighter on that. Here's some of the latest models on Tropical Tidbits. Let's take a look at what the Euro, just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. We got an approaching system, 958, 953, developing 954, 951, 950. Some of these models aren't showing this thing weakening. This is what's got me worried right now, guys. Even sitting here, we're not seeing the models weaken a lot. So I'm just saying it could be sneaky. This thing could be sneaky. The other thing here is that we can see another possibility here. You know, everybody's wrapped up on this H. If this thing makes a tiny little track change, guess what? That M becomes here because our track wiggled a little bit. So that M becomes a landfall. So stronger system just south of that H, and it's all going to be here, Clearwater south. So this, don't focus on the H, don't focus on the M. The effects are going to be felt pretty bad. Here's the latest GFS, just to kind of keep it going. 951, 950, 947. That's a powerful hurricane. Here's 949. This is, again, I'm not questioning the NHC, but I don't know how much this is really going to weaken. We'll have to see. Dry air is expected. You know, as a storm sits somewhere, we have upwelling, some cooler waters. It's going to start wrapping in dry air from that approaching front. So there are, you know, signs. We're going to have a lot of wind shear out of the west. That's why we're seeing a lot of this moisture feeding off here as our system kind of gets hit from this upper level wind shear. So it makes sense. A slowing down system start pulling up cooler water, and it loses some of that fuel. So the big question is going to be how much does it actually lose the intensity wise. But again, the NHC director said that it's a near worst case scenario for the Tampa Bay area. Near worst case. That's coming from the National Hurricane Center. So that's it. That's the latest. Not a lot of change today. Some of your official maps that come out. These are your threats maps. I have these on my website, by the way. If you go to Mike's weather page right here, I got a lot of important links right there. Know your risk. Know your zone. You can find out if you're zone, because we just got evacuations here in Pinellas County, B and C and A. If you don't know your zone, there's a know your zone page. You can find out a lot of stuff. This threats and impacts is right here. Very useful tool. So this is what happened. 5 o'clock, track change to the east, right? Look what happened. The purple is now inland more. And what is purple? Potential for winds greater than 110 miles an hour. So our purple inched in more in the inland areas, and we got more chance here across west central Florida for 110 mile an hour winds. Red is 74 to 110 mile an hour winds, and look at the orange all the way to the east coast now, 58 to 73 mile an hour winds. So this thing is pushing inland. It's not just a west coast threat, but we do have the greatest winds now, including a larger area. Some of the storm surge, we already showed it. Tampa Bay area is the worst, 10 foot plus possible. Flooding rain, as we kind of hinted, huge problem with these slow-moving hurricanes. Major flooding is red. Tornado threats, there you go. SPC showing it. We can always have tornadoes with these squall lines. Squall lines produce tornadoes. Sometimes these hurricanes produce a lot of tornadoes. Sometimes they don't produce any. That's the great unknown. But with the Gulf warm and the Atlantic warm, these squalls will have the energy it needs to produce tornadoes. So it's pretty much, it's like every worst case scenario is shaping up. Surge, wind, inland flooding, tornadoes. Add that to an already saturated state of Florida. The rivers flooding is going to increase. Power outages are going to be widespread. I expect when the power outage map finally comes out here, we're going to see this power outages very widespread. The more rain we have, these trees cannot handle prolonged winds. They can handle quick winds, but the more it rains and the more that storm doesn't move, and these storms just keep pounding, we're going to lose trees. Trees fall on power lines. We have power outages. So power outage is going to happen. guaranteed well inland, okay? Well inland. Now, the storm does weaken. I'm not meaning to miss out on anybody, but the greatest effects, obviously, right now we need to discuss is Florida, and we do have a massive evacuations fixing to happen here on the West Coast. So stay safe, y'all. Make sure you listen to your local governments and guidance and counties on, evacuations. And now, just prepare. This is happening. I hate it, but it's happening. So we'll do another one of these updates tomorrow morning. We'll see where we're at. And thanks to all the new subscribers here on YouTube. We really appreciate it. We're trying to get our channel to grow and do these little quickies and keep the lives, obviously, but good feedback on these little quickies. All right? Have a great night. Bye.